years old this year. Right now, sitting alone in this multi-million-dollar mansion to die. Other than money, I have nothing left. My wife left me 10 years ago. My children won't even answer my iPhone calls anymore. To everyone on the outside, I'm a wealthy, successful winner. But today, I want to rip off that fake mask and tell you the truth. My life has been a massive failure. I spent 50 years working myself to the bone, chasing money, to use that money to destroy the people I loved most, and eventually destroy myself too. If you wake up every day obsessed with promotions, getting rich, a bigger house, believing that once I finally have enough money, I'll be happy, then you need to stop right now. Listen to the confession of an old man who's almost in the grave. End up like me, lying on top of a mountain of money with no one left to talk to. My name is Thomas, and honestly, every tragedy in my life came from one thing: my obsessive need to control everything. That sickness was planted in me by my father, a highly decorated navy color. His world, there were only two kinds of people: exceptional people and failures. Failure was something shameful. When I was 16, I failed an important exam, and my father barely spoke to me for an entire summer, feeling that if I wasn't perfect, I didn't deserve love, carved a giant hole inside my soul. Fill that hole. I swore I would take total control of my life, never allow weakness, mediocrity, or chaos near me again. That obsession turned me into an almost pathological landscape architect. I designed the most luxurious estates imaginable. I forced every tree and every plant to grow according to the proportions I calculated. I believed that if I could create the perfect blueprint, I could finally control the insecurity living inside me. My entire life was ruled by endless curses that sounded like this: once I win that landmark project, finally be happy. Once my name is carved onto the industry honor wall, I'll finally feel proud. Once I buy that mansion on the hill, finally feel secure. And the terrifying thing is I achieved every single one of those goals. Eventually, I realized something horrifying. Desire and fear can never be controlled. Every time I thought I had finally reached the finish line moved farther away. I didn't just try to control my career. I dragged that same obsession into my marriage, and it destroyed it completely. My wife Eleanor loved freedom, but I treated our life together the same way I treated architectural blueprints. I designed a flawless Japanese garden for her, trimmed with mathematical precision. I planned our European vacations down to the minute, creating perfect itineraries that left no room for spontaneity. And yet, all those so-called perfect trips, I was never truly there. I was always rushing her, organizing schedules, calculating investment returns for my next project. My body sat beside her, but my soul was trapped somewhere inside cold blueprints and spreadsheets. I'll never forget one evening in Florence. The sunset had turned the Arno River gold and crimson. I was standing there with an itinerary in my hand, urging her to hurry to the next destination. She looked at the sky and quietly said to me, "Tom, you built me the most elegant and beautiful golden cage. But all I ever wanted was to hold your hand and get lost in the rain somewhere without a plan." At the time, all I felt was anger and resentment. I thought that providing the best lifestyle, the best luxury, the most perfect arrangements, that was love. After we separated, did I finally understand something? Providing perfection and truly being emotionally present are completely different things. Years ago, we went our separate ways. After retirement, I moved into a small cabin by a lake and began watching the people around my age. That's when I realized that old age really comes down to two ways of living. Some people spend their final years desperately trying to control everything. Others finally learn how to let go. Old colleague Richard was the first kind, was 83 years old and had a massive trust fund, yet he was miserable. His greatest joy in life was writing complaint letters to the retirement community because the lawn workers had cut the grass a quarter-inch too high. Grew old, but never stopped competing, controlling, and obsessing over tiny details. He thought control would give him peace. Instead, he became a prisoner of his own obsession. There was my other friend, Martha, who was 81. She was poor. Her husband died young, and she lived alone in a drafty old house. But Martha had completely stopped trying to control life. Every morning, she baked bread for her neighbors and sat by the window watching red cardinals land in her yard. She wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone anymore. She simply accepted life as it was, including all its imperfections. One person spent life trying to control everything. Other finally learned how to let go. That is the difference between misery and peace. I was 79. I became seriously ill, lying in a hospital bed, staring at monitors I had absolutely no control over. Something inside me finally broke open. Spent my entire life trying to control everything: money, status, success, perfect family. But the truth was, I never really wanted those things. What I truly wanted was a sense of safety. I believed control could give it to me. But fear cannot be controlled. Doesn't disappear after you buy a bigger house or pay off your mortgage. It simply finds a new target. Today you fear being poor. Tomorrow you fear growing old. Today you fear failure. Tomorrow you fear loss. Today you fear not having enough money. Tomorrow you fear getting sick. Fear only loosens its grip when you stop trying to control everything and finally accept that you are already enough. That inner sense of worth, the thing I spent my whole life chasing, I could have given it to myself when I was 25 years old. But instead, I wasted decades trying to earn it through control. People think happiness is some trophy waiting at the finish line, but life has no finish line. You solve one problem, another one arrives right on time. That's simply what life is. The journey itself is the destination. So don't waste your life the way I did, trapped in the illusion that once you finally control everything, finally be happy, accept your imperfect life, embrace your imperfect self, because right now, in this imperfect moment, already possess the most important thing happiness requires, are already enough. Do you hear me? Right now, as you are already enough.